Hi and welcome to another installment of Math Basics, Mr. Besh. Today our topic is plane geometry and we are going to explore angles and angle measurements. We are going to start the same place we started the last time, with the line in our last tutorial, line and line segments. But this time we're going to take the line and we are going to cut it in half, not into two pieces. What we have is a ray. If we take two rays and we combine them together at the same endpoint, now what we have is an angle. And this is going to be our topic. Like line segments, angles can also have equal symbols and congruent symbols. You see, all angles are measured in degrees, and our angles, if you look at this and we translate this one, this means the measure of angle ABC is equal to 90 degrees. The M stands for measure. Basically, the greater than symbol is representing the angle. And notice the equal sign, this works with numbers, just like we did with the line segment section. From time to time, we also see a congruency symbol pop up into here, and what that's telling you is sameness again, saying that angle ABC is the same as angle DEF, meaning they have equivalent numerical values, hence they're congruent. Now, the types of angles that exist, and a lot of this is reviewed from elementary school. First, you got your straight angles. A straight angle is an angle that measures between 0 degrees or 180 degrees. And the symbol that's used to represent it is just simply a line. The next angle we have is an acute angle. Acute angles are known as the smaller angles, and they are angle measurements that measure more than 0 degrees and less than 90 degrees. The right angle. The right angle is the angle that measures 90 degrees. It's like a giant L, and notice the box in the lower left-hand corner. They are always there, and that is a symbolism for right angle. We do not have to put 90 degrees because the box stands for that. And last but not least in this unit, you have the obtuse angle. The obtuse angle is the larger angles. These angles measure more than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees. One of the things that we deal with is our vocabulary comes up as complementary angles. By definition, complementary angles are two or more angles whose sum equals 90 degrees. Basically what that means is, you got two angles, they add up to be 90. Now in my demonstration, my picture, I want everybody to see that there are three angles here. When you identify and you label an angle, angles are identified and labeled as letters, and you got to have three letters for every angle. The biggest angle in this diagram is angle ABC. Follow it with your finger on your screen. ABC. That's the biggest angle. That angle measures 90 degrees. Inside that 90-degree angle measurement, two smaller angles are also there. Angle ABD, which measures x degrees, or an unknown quantity, and then we also have angle measurement DBC. Angle DBC measures 35 degrees. And the name of the game with complementary angles is the two angles inside need to be equal to the overall big angle, which is ABC, a right angle, 90 degrees. So now you're playing a game and saying, what number plus 35 makes 90? And when you solve this, the missing angle comes out to be 55 degrees. This is complementary angles. Two or more angles that add together to make 90 degrees. Another section, a vocabulary term comes up is supplementary angles in this section. These are two angles whose sum is 180 degrees. Translated, two or more angles add up to be 180. And just like the last example, I'm going to show you a picture of three angles. Follow along with your finger. The biggest angle is the line, angle ABC. That angle measures 180 degrees. And now it is made up of two smaller angles. The first of the angles has the letters DBA, and the second angle has DB and C. The angle that's DBA measures 50 degrees. The other angle, DBC, is unknown. It's x. But we know because they're supplementary that they add together to make 180 degrees. So now you're playing a game and saying what plus 50 makes 180? And as a result, our answer comes out to be 130 degrees. And this is the definition of supplementary angles. Note, complementary angles are angles, two or more angles, that add up to be 90. They are not right angles. A right angle is a 90-degree angle, and it's only one angle. The same thing with supplementary angles. By definition, it's two or more angles that add up to be 180. Remember, lines are straight angles that measure 180 degrees. Please do not get these confused. The last of our vocabulary that we're going to be dealing with in this section are vertical angles. Now, there are three key points that I want you to know about what happens when two lines intersect or two lines cross. Okay? First off, when two lines cross, four angles are always formed. I have them labeled as A, B, C, and D. By definition, vertical angles are angles, number one, that are congruent, meaning they have the exact same value, and they are angles that are directly across from one another. So angle A and angle C are vertical, and angle D and angle B are across from one another. They are vertical. Now, a lot of students make this mistake because they confuse the vocabulary. They confuse across from one another and next to. Example, angle A is next to angle B. Angle A could also be said that it is next to angle D. But angle A is across from angle C. Okay? Angles that are across from one another have the exact same value by definition because they're vertical angles and they are congruent. So now if I knew angle A was, say, 70 degrees, that would mean that angle C would be 70 degrees. And if I knew that angle D would be like 100, then angle B would be 100 as well. Another model or example using this with the four angles created by two intersecting lines. I want to show you something. I said there were three key things that I wanted you to know in this section. Here is the first of these three key things. If I take the four angles that are here and I add these four angles up, they always add up to be 360 degrees. Let me say this again. Anytime you have two lines that intersect, four angles are made. All four of those angles add up to be 360 degrees. That's the first thing I wanted you to know. The second thing I wanted you to know, angles that are directly across from one another, vertical angles, have exactly the same value. So that means because the bottom angle was 129 degrees, directly across from it up top is angle T, that means T also has a value of 129 degrees. And now I know E and F are across from one another. I don't know their values right now, but I do know that they are congruent to one another because they're across from one another, and that satisfies the definition of vertical angles. Last but not least, the third important thing that I want you to know. Any two angles that are side by side one another when two lines intersect are supplementary. Remember what that means. They add up to be 180 degrees. So any two angles side by side add up to be 180. That means if I take angle E plus angle T, that equals 180 degrees. If I take angle T plus angle F, that's 180 degrees. If I take angle F and 129 degrees, that is 180 degrees. And last but not least, if you see it, if I take angle E and 129 degrees, they add up to be 180. So now by a process of elimination, solve this simple one-step equation, we can clearly see that the value of E is 51 degrees. Now, if we know E is 51 degrees, then by the definition of vertical angles, F is 51 degrees as well. And if you went around here and you added up these four angles, 51 plus 129 plus 51 plus 129 all add up to be 360 degrees. This is what happens when two lines intersect, by definition of vertical angles and supplementary angles. And this is our little tutorial on angle and angle measurements. I hope you found this both helpful and informative.